for me, my parents, they weren't, like, around or whatever, but they weren't, like, around that much because they did have my sister young. They did have me, like, necessarily, not, like, young, but, like, in college still. And so...
Shit. Yeah, that's young.
Yeah, like, they were still trying to figure out their lives, whatever, and then there was, like, me, and I had to figure out, sort of, how to, like, deal with, like, my sister. She was, like, the crazy one. She was the one who was always, like...
It's always the older ones, man.
She was, like, doing all, like, the wild stuff, and so I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna be, like, the tame... Or not, like, tame, but, like, I'm just gonna be responsible because they have, like, too much shit to deal with. But, yeah, and so you end up just, like, internalizing things on your own and, like, having to, like, okay, they have too much to deal with, so I'm gonna figure out how to do it on my own.
Exactly.
And so you don't really learn how to, like, whatever.
It's like the same. Okay, I'm just gonna go into my childhood. Why not? Okay. Let's go deep. Okay. Big piece of ice. It's mentally processing. Yeah. So, like I said, my mom wasn't really around, and a lot of the time, like, the people she would leave us with were bad people. Like, we spent a couple of years in a homeless shelter, and she met who was my godmother, drug addict, certified. Like, she would like, leave me and my older sister Jasmine alone for, like, hours at a time to, you know, have sex with a dude to get drugs. She would come back high, and it's just like, it was a weird situation. And then, like, once my mom, when I was going through that, I was a little bit older, like 8. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit older. You can remember these things. Yeah. But, like, my older sister, I guess, my father left when I was 3 months old. My older sister was 3 years old. So she kind of took it a little hard. She felt like the abandonment. I didn't feel that. I was like, my mom kicked him out of the house. Like, it wasn't his choice. Like, he didn't leave me. He didn't make that conscious decision to, like, leave his child. But, like, because she felt that animosity towards my mother, she started acting out, like, really wild. Like, she would scream in stores saying, "Stop beating me, Mom." What is it called? FDA, Family Services or whatever. They got called on my mom, like, weekly, at least, because my sister was just so fucking wild. My older sister used to beat me when I was a kid. Like, as an infant, like, she would beat me. She would steal my bottles, cut my hair. She would sneak in my crib and, like, abuse me, essentially. And, like, obviously this was learned behavior, because the same shit happened to her. Like, she was sexually molested, assaulted, even when she was a kid. Obviously, when you're living in, like, homeless shelters and with strangers, people who aren't your parents, like, they're gonna do stuff, obviously. But it was always her. Like, I was fortunate, and I don't know if I'm, like, suppressing memories of maybe this shit happened to me too. Because the mind has an amazing way of, like, dealing and coping. But yeah, like, that happened, and my sister continued to beat me, and I was always that child, like, I just saw my mom struggle. Like, she would get home and completely ignore us, like, emotionally be shut down, super tired because she worked, like, a 14-hour day, and she would just ignore us. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be that kid. I'm gonna, like, not act out in the way that Jasmine is. I'm gonna be the person that's like, oh, let me clean the house. Mom, do you need anything? Let me cook you dinner. Like, I was cooking dinner at, like, 6 years old. And, like, that's just the role I took on. And obviously, like, whenever we got beat or something, Jasmine's fault, 110%. She would, like, influence me to do something dumb because I was seeking approval as this little child. Oh my God, love me. And I would do some dumbass shit, and then my mom would come home with, like, a damn flip-flop spatula, anything she could grab, like, pa 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 pa.
The worst was when they told you to, like, grab a belt.
Oh no, man. I know, like, this one time, like, this is the one memory that sticks in my head, and it'll probably never go away. My mom comes home, she sees the mess that we fucking made in the kitchen, and she's like, go get a stick.
Oh yeah, the switch.
Bruh. And I was like, what do you mean, Mom? And she's like, go outside, make a friend with a tree, and get a goddamn stick. I'm like, no, Mom. So, like, yeah, got my stick, got beat, you know.
Normal shit.
Yeah, normal shit. Exactly. Nowadays, if you beat your kid, you know, you like, get the cops called on you.
Yeah, it's, like, wild. Like, back then, I don't know, though. Like, is it a bad thing? I'm like...
no, it's discipline. Yeah, sometimes you got a badass kid. It's wild.
Do you hold like resentment towards your sister? Or
honestly, like, because I'm older, I think like I have forgiven her, but her negativity has been carrying on throughout my life. Like, even when we were older, like, I used to lend her money all the time. I bought her a $3,000 car, never saw the money.
Yeah.
She used to steal my bikes. Even like when we got Christmas money, I saved up $200 over the course of 5 years.
Yeah.
She stole it to buy cookies at school. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
But she's just that person. And like, she did her own thing, like battling with addiction and like abusive relationships, all that great stuff, because she doesn't think highly of herself, obviously, when you're abused like that. And like, now we're in a good place, but I feel like it's because we're not in the same zones. Like, she lives now in Tallahassee and I live here in Miami, and like, it's just we're on different waves. So like, I can tolerate her, and like, we talk like once a week if she's not avoiding a serious conversation, because she does that. She doesn't want to talk about her situation or like how bad she's doing or good she's doing, whatever. So yeah, that's how that was. And then my little sister was born.
Okay.
I think of her as a godsend. She was fucking blessed. But like, I took on the role because I know my mom. She was on the struggle bus as a single parent, continuing.
Yeah.
Like, I took care of her. Like, would make her food, bathed her, did her hair for years. And that was.
So you took on a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think you ever mind it when it's your family.
exactly, to a certain extent, but like, it was welcomed, and I think like it gave me more of a distraction when I was a kid, which I liked. But as far as like mental, I think my way of coping with my issues and like being exposed to all those like bad things, like the abuse, the drug addiction and everything, because like, mind you, I was buried in like drugs and bad shit everywhere. Like, I would personally say like, I forced myself to not want to be bipolar. I don't know if like being it's not a choice, obviously. Like, no mental disease is a choice, but I definitely feel like I have these mood swings that are fucking wild. And I'm actually going like, this thing was timed at a weird time, because like, I feel like I'm on a downswing, as if my whole life was on a roller coaster analogy. Like, ups, you got your highs, you got your lows, and like exactly. But my lows are bad. Like, a lot of self-hate, a lot of depression. Tried to kill myself several times, and it's just like, you know. But I realized, like, obviously Google is my savior. Thank you, right? So I did a lot of research in how like I was coping, because I have like a lot of memory problems. Like, I'll meet people, I won't remember their face, their names, nothing. And even if like I'm their friend or like have deep connections, like, I don't remember the interaction or like the bond that I built with that person. So it's like I'm meeting new people all the time. I do this with my family. Like, for me to not remember who my mom is as a person, it's fucking like, wild. So like, I looked it up, and I think I have a dissociative disorder where you just like detach from your reality, and you're just like on autopilot constantly. And like, I don't know, it makes sense because I was forced into this like perfect world. Like, you have to be the perfect kid, you have to like appease and please everybody. I think like that forced me into this umbrella of not feeling or not processing things. And I definitely, like, it affects my interactions with people. Because, like, you know, like, if we hang out for years, and you, like, you know me, I know you, but if we break it off, like, we're separated for a year, I'm like, I don't have any attachment. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild.
I feel, well, it's strange.